Hello everybody, and welcome back to Cask and Points. Today we're reviewing something that I've always been a little bit suspicious about. This is Willett's Wheated 8-Year Purple Top. So Willett Purple Tops, I've done a few reviews on Willett already. I've talked a lot about the Willett Purple Tops. Definitely go check those reviews out if you're curious to learn more about the history of them. But essentially, they've existed since about 2006. And in 2006, they created this family estate Willett single barrel program, and they went out and sourced some of the best whiskeys on the market. And they were able to buy some whiskey that was upwards of 20, 22, 25 years old. And that whiskey costed thousands of dollars back then and tens of thousands of dollars today. And so Willett obviously built an absolutely legendary name. But in the last few years, they've really dialed that back down. They realized that they don't really need to source any more whiskeys because they started redistilling in about 2012. And with that redistillation, now that it's been 10, 11, 12 years, they can just bottle their own whiskey, charge $300, $400, $500 for it, and people are paying that because of the great Willett name. Now, obviously, some of these are really still worth it, but very few are. But this one is a little bit different. So this is a wheated 8-year. It's the only purple top that's wheated that's currently on the market today. It has an MSRP of $200, and it also has a really unique bottle shape that I'll show on your screen. It looks pretty funky, and I've always been a bit suspicious because 8 years, 108 proof, not really adding up to $200. Willett portfolio, I think on the cheaper end, is absolutely disgusting. I don't like Noah's Mill. I don't like Johnny Drum. All of these bottles that are 40, 50 bucks are just not at all good to me. They're super herbal. They're super lavender forward. There's really not much sweetness on them. I don't like the oak on them. They're really just, in my honest opinion, bad products. But the Willett Purple Tops are some of the best products on the market. I think even their own distillate that's 10, 11, 12 years old, and something we'll actually try today as a little bit of a comparison, a high rye 11-year, absolutely delicious whiskey. These can really be some of the best out there for $300, $400, $500 if you know how to look. Now, most of them still probably aren't worth that much money, but the fact that even some of them are, well, we have really two ends of the spectrum here. We have some of the worst whiskeys on the market for $40, $50. We have some of the best at $400, $500. So I want to see how this Willett 8-year is going to compare. Which side of the spectrum is it going to be on? Let's try this 8-year wheated and let's see which side of the spectrum it's on. Okay, there's a lot of ethanol on that nose. Wow, that is giving me an ethanol burn of like a hazmat whiskey. That is not a good sign. Beyond that, if you can get past that, there is some caramel on this, which is nice. There's some caramel core and some vanilla on it, some more wheated bourbon flavor notes. It's a little bit herbal. It's a little bit like cloves and mint and a little bit of that lavender. Not a lot though, so it may not be like the honestly herbal garbage that's a lot of the cheaper Willett products. But I don't know. Let's try it. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. Actually, it's getting worse. It starts off really caramel forward, so it's like, it's fine, it's sweet, and then it starts getting a little bit herbal. It's okay. It's okay. It's not a $200 bottle. Honestly, though, it is much, much better than Noah's Mill and those kinds of bottles. And if you're actually a really big fan of Johnny Drum and Noah's Mill and stuff like that, and you could find this bottle for MSRP at somewhere around $200, and you really, really do like those other bottles, this I think is actually a really nice step up. I don't think it's really competing with many of the Purple Tops that I've had, but it's actually not bad. Now, this, like I said, is their only wheated product in their portfolio. They have had some legendary sourced wheated bourbon, so it's kind of funny because when you say a wheated Willett, you could be talking about the 22 and 23-year-old Bernheim stock, absolutely legendary, somewhere between $2,000 and sometimes upwards of $10,000 secondary market. Really amazing old Purple Tops. Or you could be talking about an 8-year wheated bottle that is not nearly as highly acclaimed. So I will say there are two kinds of wheated bourbons that Willett have produced in the last 15 years. This is not the really, really cool kind. And we'll see, they may be putting out some wheated bourbons. I've actually heard that Southern Spirits was getting some sort of wheated bourbon as well. And it's unclear if that was a sourced whiskey or if it was their own distillate, but regardless, it's likely that they are putting out some wheated bourbons, and they'll likely put out a lot more. Their redistillation started in about 2012, and so I'm expecting we're just going to see a lot of those experiments that they decided to do in 2015 or 2017. As they really age up to 8, 9, 10 years old and become really good whiskey, we'll start seeing them on the market. Gonna be interesting to see where they are going. But this 8-year is not particularly good. Let's take a second sip. getting more herbal. It's actually getting a really strong plum note as well. So on this one, front palate of caramel, mid palate just had an absolute plum bomb with some herbal notes really going through towards that late palate and on the back end there. It's actually okay. Like, it's not a bottle that I'm absolutely hating. To be fair, if you like the 4-year Willett Rye at $80, this is a nice step up on that. And this, for double the price, I wouldn't pay $200 for this. Honestly, though, I would probably pay like $75-80 for it, which is to say, like, it's not terrible. Like, people say that this is one of the worst whiskeys out there. It's not one of the worst whiskeys out there, but it's pretty bad. It's not a $200 bottle. It's not a $300 bottle. But if you have some guy that's trying to get rid of it and marks it down to like $150, I can see why you might want to add this to the collection if you really love Willett. I have mixed feelings with Willett. Like I said, I really, really hate their cheaper stuff. And honestly, I hate a lot of their purple tops. But some purple tops are just absolute chef's kiss. Amazing stuff. Yeah, this isn't a chef's kiss. But it's okay. Let's take a third sip. It's just getting progressively worse. I want to rate it now, so it just doesn't keep getting worse and worse. I think my rating has just dropped at least 0.1 on each sip of that. It's just getting more herbal. I'm getting really herbal. The caramel was nice in the beginning. The plum on that second sip was really nice. Now I'm not really getting a ton of that caramel or plum. It's really getting into this like real herbal note on it. That's not great. That's just not great. Yeah, okay. I will take this final sip here. And then actually we are going to go here to this good old purple top. Like I said, this is a high rye mash. This is 5276. It's 137.4 proof. And actually, I think it's 9 years old, not 11 years old. But it smells amazing. Yeah, in comparison, actually, you know what, we'll go to the Willett Purple Top for now. We'll go back to that to give it a rating. But yeah, I mean, this one is really sweet on the nose. A ton of caramel. Some nice spices on it, clearly getting the high rye out of it. Now, actually, this is pretty close. This is a sister barrel. This is 5286, so actually only 10 barrels away. And this is actually the highest proof Willett out there. I did a review on Willett Purple Top once, and I said if that video got 100 likes, I would crack this bottle open. And I think it got like 65 or 70 likes, so I haven't cracked it open yet, but we'll crack it open soon. I don't know, maybe if this video gets 100 likes, I'll crack it open. So I'll see. I want to open it one of these days, but you know, we should do it for some special occasion. Maybe 1,500 subscribers or something. We'll open it up. That bottle is $1,300 to $1,500 on secondary markets, so it's not cheap. But it is the highest Willett Purple Top ever. It's 151.6 proof. So we'll see. But let's take a sip of this. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. It's really, really robust. It's getting into caramel in the beginning. It starts getting into some really nice red cherry. Then it gets into pretty spicy notes on it. You're going to get like cinnamon and nutmeg on that. You're going to get pepper on that. Very solid, well-rounded pour. I think you have different things going on in the front, mid, and late palate. That's great. Would I pay $600-700 for that bottle? No, but I think at that proof, you may be able to get it for like $500, $550. And that it's not terrible. I wish it was a little bit cheaper than that, maybe $300 or $400, but honestly, that is an 8.4 to me. It's solid, definitely a little bit overpriced. Actually, you know what, I'll up it a little bit. I'll even go to an 8.5. I think this is good. Like, this is good, honest whiskey right here. But this is less good, less honest whiskey here. Let's take a final sip of this Willett Wheated, and let's give it a rating. Wow, in comparison, that sucks. I mean, that's really bad. I'm going to rate that 7.2. To say, it's still a 7. It's still a 7. It's still worth like $50-60. But I wouldn't pay much more than that. Honestly, it just got worse and worse over time. I think in the beginning, I could have said it was like a 7.6, 7.7. And I think I would have ran away and just left it at that. I would have been a little bit happier with it. But it got really herbal. It's definitely still sweet. It definitely has all that Willett funk on it. If you're a big Willett fan, you might really, really like this. And so, hey, maybe that is more for you. I am not a huge Willett fan. I respect some of their best stuff, but generally, I am not huge on the Willett funk, those more herbal, cloves, lavender notes on it that I get on a lot of their products. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. If you guys like Willett, what your favorite Willett product is. But with that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. I hope you all enjoyed the review, and I'll catch you all in the next one.